only 5 crystals and 10 gems left. We're almost there. And standing in our way is this level. Yeah. This level. So, this level. If I wasn't insisting on doing the levels in order wherever possible, I would save this level for later. It's that infamous. Here we have basically a futuristic version of the plants from Road to Ruin and Ruination. They're hidden at the top and the sides, so we have to slide them. We also have pistons, true to this level's name. Don't stand under them when they go down. We also have these enemies. They're kind of interesting. They've got electrified arms out to the sides, so we can't spin or slide. We have to jump on them. And we've got more of them here. This is our first introduction to the space levels. They have kinda cool music, but I prefer the music in Crash 3's future levels. Interestingly enough, in the GBA version it had space levels that were mainly based on these, having a lot of the same enemies, but they used the music from Crash 3's future levels, which actually does fit. More of these guys, that was actually pretty close. And here, we're introduced to a new thing they do. These ones have their electrified arms above them, so we can't jump on them. That's our warm-up for the real thing. Now these enemies will alternate between being immune to jumping and immune to spinning. I really like these enemies. They're a nice test of all the skills you've used throughout the game. So yeah, wait for him to put the arms down. Slide this guy. Here I like to wait for this guy to get close here so I can slide. This one, thankfully, puts his arms up right here, so perfectly positioned for a slide there. And grab a couple of boxes from near these nitros. It's actually not as hard as it looks. And here, thankfully, this guy's got his arms perfectly positioned to jump. This guy does not, though. We need to wait a little bit. Wait for him to put the arms up and then spin there. I like to wait for this one, too, because he goes all the way to the edge of the platform here. Past these 2 pistons is the real area that makes this level so infamous. We also thankfully have another mask here. Don't touch these red areas, they are heated. But there's a danger path here. We can't enter it yet. This is why this level is so evil. There are boxes in the danger path. There are checkpoints in the danger path. But we can't enter it yet. Also, leave that enemy down there alive. It'll help for later. I thought I was going to hit him for a second. Now, if we step on these things on the floor, they send blue pulses of energy from these shooters here. These are shrink rays. The shrink rays are kind of interesting because they're the one instance of a time-delayed death in the game. If you get hit by one of them, Crash will slowly shrink into nothing. But if you get hit by something else before that happens, you get a miniature version of the other death animation, which is pretty hilarious. So here, we hit that exclamation mark box, and now we have to backtrack to get some boxes earlier in the bonus. I like to leave the bounty box there intact so I can easily jump over these nitros without having to waste a mask. Because we do not want to lose masks in this area if we can help it. These crates here are active now, we can get them. Thankfully, dying in the bonus will not get rid of the danger path, but dying anywhere else in the level will. Remember, we haven't touched the danger path yet, so we're still in no death mode. This is what makes this level so infamous for first-time players. I'm basically going for deathless runs of these levels as a self-imposed challenge, but here, it's actually necessary. At least if you want to get the box gem. So, this can be tricky sometimes. We need to wait for this piston to be at the very top, and then do a slide jump there. That can be a little tricky to make sometimes. Thankfully, if you miss it, it doesn't close off the danger path, so it's generally pretty fine. Now we're back onto the main part of the level. You can really do this danger path either now or when you're backtracking, it doesn't really matter. There's an annoyingly positioned guy over there near one of these shrink rays, and this shrink ray, I hate this shrink ray so much. Yep, see, I just barely clipped it there. You think that's bad? Try doing it backwards. These guys, however, I find them pretty amusing. They make pretty funny sounds. They don't actually hurt you if you get hit by them, they just push you back. But they're often in areas where you do not want to be pushed back. Spinning or sliding them will push them back, and we have to push them in the pits. So as you can see, this guy wants to throw us in the pit there, but we're not going to have any of that. And there's one coming up, though, that is quite annoying. If this guy hits you, you are going in that pit, no questions asked. Also, we need to get him twice before he's actually gone. And if they hit you, they actually take a step forward. So it's possible for that guy to combo you after you've hit him once and push you right in the pit. Now here, that's the last box on the main path of the level, so it's backtracking time. Thankfully, we've cleared out all the enemies here. But here's where things get really, really bad. Saving a mask until now is a great idea, because this area is an absolute nightmare with no masks. Oh boy. Oh wait, that's one mask gone. Quickly get through. Okay, right, we're safe. I do not like that area in the slightest. The bonus platform's now stretched out to ensure that we can't fall in there. And is it here or... No, it's not here. It's in the next area. The place where we actually wanted to leave an enemy alive is, I believe, right here. Leaving this guy makes making the jump here a lot easier. There we go. Without that, you need to do a very tricky slide jump. So, now that we're back here, we can now enter the danger path. If I was playing this normally, I would be safe here, but I'm not playing this normally. I'm still going for Deathless, so I have to do the Danger Path Deathless, and the Danger Path has some pretty tricky piston areas, requiring you to just barely wait until one's almost crushing you. It's got these kind of cool segments. There was a nod to these in Wrath of Cortex, but these ones, the ones there actually X-rayed you. And here we're going to see probably one of the cruelest ways to kill an enemy in this whole game. You can probably tell what we're about to do here. It's just kind of disturbing how the screen gets cut off right as he hits the nitro. Yeah. So Crash 3 reveals that all of the lab-assisted enemies are actually robots, so I guess we don't need to feel that bad about doing that to him, but still. Got a couple more of these. These ones, weirdly enough, don't actually raise their arms. And this is where this level gets particularly evil. We have the electrified arm enemies over bottomless pits, and we have to wait for them to be jumpable before we can jump. This area is actually fairly tricky as well, because we have a point-blank shrink ray. And this area is really evil. You can just barely see the sparks of the other one when it's in its non-jumpable state. We need to delay jumping on this guy for a bit. Yeah, that area is extremely annoying. This is also quite annoying because, yeah, if you get hit by those enemies on a mask, you've basically lost your only platforms. I hope I haven't missed any boxes here. Nitro Exploder. Yeah, 69 is all of them. So, that's the box gem. And to risk ripping off a certain speedrun, I think it really says something when speedruns have to put out a disclaimer saying, no, that's not a speedrun strat, that is actually how you are intended to get the box gem in that level. And speedrunners actually do have to do it that way, because there's a box duplication glitch that makes both Digging It and Cold Hard Crash much easier in a speedrun. You can't duplicate the boxes in this one. There's not enough time to do the glitch. I might try showing off that glitch later on in a bonus episode. But, yeah. Not able to do it here. But yes, pissing it away is done. Personally, I actually don't find that one as bad as Cold Hard Crash. It's not as long overall, that's probably why. The danger path can be tricky though with those enemies over the pits. But anyway, I'm going to be saving here. Just because, as much as I don't find that one as bad as Cold Hard Crash, I don't want to be doing it again if I can help it. So with that, that's all for that level, thankfully, and from here on in, it's kind of a breather. The rest of these levels are not that bad. Saying that, I probably cursed myself, but anyway, next up is Rocket, a level that is actually very, very unique. So just a heads up, these levels have amazing music. And finally we know what's happening in the intro. Yep, this is the jetpack. The jetpack is kind of a weird mechanic. It's a new one they introduced right at the tail end of the game. You press down to go up to go down. Yes, it's inverted controls, which can get a bit tricky. Actually, just up and down are inverted, left and right are the same. And you press X to go forward and circle to go backward. You can also use L1 or R1. And yeah, you can go back into the warp room area like this and fly around. It's probably a good idea to take some time to familiarize yourself with the jetpack controls, because they take a lot of getting used to. And the real action starts now. So these levels are very controversial among people who play this game. A lot of people don't like the controls on them very much and think that it's a bit mean giving you a completely new gameplay mechanic right at the very end of the game. Like, I personally kind of enjoy these, and the music is really cool too. Like, I love this song so much. It's also a pretty long one as far as the loop goes. I love how the checkpoints just, the bits of them just float away to space. It's just pretty cool. Now, for TNTs, you just have to run into them. Getting away from TNTs quickly can be difficult. And these lasers can be a little tricky as well. They either go in the two diagonals or in a cross in the center of the room. And yes, those red-hot parts of machinery, don't touch those. That's bad. And don't touch those red-hot looking things there as well. And don't touch these guys while they're electrified. So we basically just need to charge into them with the X button and spin when they're not electrified. There actually is a glitch here that lets you fly straight through them, and it turns out that the area right behind them is actually not harmful at all, and you can just go straight through it. But anyway, oh yeah, those red things, they're actually explosives. I was never really sure what they were supposed to be, but yeah, they're flying explosives, and that's tricky in this area, because we need to quickly go in and grab that not nitro, that'd be bad. Grab that thing from in between the nitros. Hitting the nitro exploder will not get rid of that box, so you need to make sure that you get it there. You can also see the very blatantly 2D Earth and Moon in the background here. Going back to this box. And yeah, sometimes stopping yourself in the jetpack can be a little tricky as well. As is going back down if you miss something. Okay, good dodge around that. It's kind of funny, for being only the first of the jetpack levels, and yes, there are more jetpack levels, this one actually has more nitros than the second, which is pretty weird. There's the crystal, don't miss that. This part is actually pretty tricky. But yeah, those orangey areas of fire, they're actually totally harmless. You just generally won't know that, because usually the lab assistant will get you before you have a chance to experience that. And that's the box jam. 39 boxes, that's including nitros, so these levels are also fairly short. And I got through that one on my first try, so they're not too hard if you take them slowly. I can see why some people wouldn't like them that much, especially since, as you can probably tell by the name Pack Attack, there's a second jetpack level in this warp room. And that's not the end of the jetpack in this game. But anyway, after that, we have Night Fight. This is an interesting one. Its level name doesn't really give you much of an indication of what it actually is. So as you can tell by the music, we have another jungle level, but this time it's dark, so we need to rely on these fireflies to see in the dark for us. The fireflies are timed. If you take too long, they will fly away, leaving you in the dark, and that's really bad, because there are a lot of pits in this level. The rats are also very aggressive here. They love to come right at you, as you can see with that one. Thankfully, that one got one of its own comrades hit into it. So, we're about to approach an interesting part of the level here. There's a danger path in this one. It's a pretty short way into the main level though, but we need to bring a Firefly from the main level in here, so need to go fast. We have these really bizarre periscope spiky UFO things. I don't even know what they're supposed to be. They're similar to a type of enemy from Crash 1. We also have the lizards from the Ruin levels. Oh, I do not like that guy at all, and that was extremely lucky. But anyway, we got the Danger Path gem. I'm actually going to Death Warp out here, because it's actually virtually impossible to get both the Box Gem and the Danger Path gem in the same run of this level, because there's really no way you're backtracking without Fireflies. So, I mean, I'm sure it's doable to someone with insane memorization of where the pits are, but I'm not going to go for it. Now, this formation of boxes is pretty tricky. Do not try and spin there. You'll probably hit the Nitro. So another few of these weird things to dodge around. Yeah, there are pits in very, very weird shapes in this level. And now these are moving. Don't slide too far there, you'll usually land in that pit. Run past you. And here's the bonus. The bonus is actually kind of interesting. It follows the exact same Firefly mechanics as the rest of the level. So we need to grab this Firefly and quickly run through here. If you're really good at memorizing, you actually can do this bonus in the dark. I have seen people do that. Here, though, make sure to go around here and break these two before grabbing this Firefly. Otherwise, you're not likely to have enough time to reach the end before the Firefly runs out. Especially with having to crawl under these Nitros. So that's everything in the bonus. If they were really cruel, they'd put an extra box right at the end there that you wouldn't be able to see if you didn't have the Firefly, but, yeah, it's fine. Now, here is where things get fairly interesting. This is where the Danger Path meets up with the main part of the level. There are boxes in the Danger Path, so we need to backtrack a little bit here. One pit, two pits, and that's all the pits, thankfully, and there is a Firefly waiting right for us here. These are the only two boxes in the Danger Path, so this is how they intended for you to get the Box Gem. You have to go into the Danger Path backwards and just only do about 10% of it. It's pretty weird like that. You don't even need to open up the entrance to the Danger Path in the first place. Now, there are a lot of very annoying rats here, like that one. That one kind of jump-scared me at one point when I was in an earlier attempt at this level. Oh boy, I jumped too late there. There's a pit right there, and that should be the end. There we go, that's our Box Gem. So that's Night Fight. It's really not that bad if you know all the tricks to it. How you get the Box Gem is a little bit of a guide, dang it, but it's not nearly as bad as Cold Hard Crash. So with that, we get ourselves a crystal and 2 more clear gems. We've only got 2 more main levels left. So I'll see you next time for Pack Attack, Spaced Out, and what comes after. See you then. So here, near Bottomless Pits, that's where the pushing guys can be very annoying. Especially that guy, if he pushes you, that happens. Here, you actually need to do a very careful slide jump. It's possible to not make this. And I forgot to jump! Dying in the bonus does not get rid of the Danger Path, but it still looks clumsy, so I'm going to exit out of the level anyway. Nope, 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 jump! Oh, wow, I was just not jumping at all there. These up and down pistons are kind of a theme of these bonus areas. You generally want to jump off of them. Ah! I knew that'd get me at least once. The bit with the 4 floor shrink rays, right here. Oh, I hate this part of the level so much. This is extremely hard to do without a mask. And that got... Yep, there we go. If you lose your Firefly before the end of a segment, you're almost certainly going to fall in a pit. Also, the rats get very aggressive here. Oh, and there's the pit anyway. That is the... I've done that exact same thing once before. Also, if you go the full way of the danger path, you'll miss the crystals, so that's another reason why that's a problem. Slid too far. We also have the lizards from the ruin levels back again. Oh boy, thankfully there are no pits. I spoke too soon! I know speedrunners out there who really hate that rat. Oh boy, that other rat is also bad. Yeah. I just slid there just for good measure. Should probably slide here too. Oh, that was the very end of the level, dang it! Now, very soon we're actually going to be hitting a danger path. Yes, there's one in this level. And this one is actually kind of interesting what we need to do. Firstly, we actually need to... Ooh, that was... I knew I wasn't going to make that. We also have these really weird periscope, spiky UFO things, and that's what I said about those rats being aggressive. They're similar to a type of enemy that appeared back in Crash 1. We also have the lizards from... Yeah, I wasn't making that.